begin your coverage with George this afternoon, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is offering his condolences to the families of those who died when a 5-story building caved in now 10 days ago. The president is also expected to visit the disaster site this afternoon. In the latest update, officials revealing that almost 90% of the rubble has now been cleared, with police investigations expected to start soon. 19 people are still unaccounted for.
After we hand over the site back to the police and the police to Labour, there's certain legal processes that will kick in. We just await the engineer's report, etc. 85% of the site is cleared currently, and they're doing quite well. But now, last night, we had a discussion with Labour to get permission to backfill certain of the walls just to stabilise them. As you can see, the building over my right-hand shoulder is a house, and that wall is very unstable. So we just want to put backfill against that, so just to protect the integrity of the wall. So it's still a dangerous site, but we're very glad that 85% is cleared with no fatalities on the rescue.
Well, let's stay with our focus on the story now and take you live to George. Newzroom Afrika Sipha Kema, as you'll know by now, has been tracking the story incredibly closely. Sipha, what's happening there this afternoon?
Well, Michelle, just a short few minutes ago, the President finally arrived in George. Where we are right now is where it's the Joint Operations Centre at the Garden Route District Municipalities Chambers. That's where he's locked in a meeting with the Western Cape government, such as the Premier of the Western Cape, as well as the MEC of local government, Anton Bradal, and several ministers that the departments, of course, have got a hand in various investigations looking into the collapse of the George building. We saw the Minister of Home Affairs here. We saw the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Minister of Social Development, and obviously the Minister of Labour and Employment, Thulas Nxesi, has also been here. But the other people that are here currently, Michelle, it is Noom. And we want to talk to Noom because this is a Labour matter as well. Just to talk to Masibulele Naki, who is the Health and Safety Secretary for Noom. Mr. Naki, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I think let's first start off by talking about what Noom has found since being on the ground regarding the investigations that you have been looking into regarding some of the workers and the numbers and the people that were employed and how they were employed.
Thank you very much, and once more, let's send our condolences as the National Union of Mineworkers to the families and South Africans and even Africans. So it's very shocking, the information that we are finding here, that workers were employed here. Now the department can't find records. There are no records with people that were employed by this company. Actually, the company never followed the labor laws of this country since they employed, and it even bypass on how the permit that was given to them as a white-owned company. They applied for a permit where they will work for a period of less than 6 months. And that period of less than 6 months is a less than 6 months with employment of people who are less than 30. So this is the permit that they were given to do that construction company. But they employed more than 30 people, and they were going to operate more than 6 months. So this is one thing that we have found here. And the inspectors, they inspected the working place since from the onset, and they realized when the building is going up that now things that are done there are not in line with the permit. But because here in Western Cape, the Western Cape is governed by the DA, and the DA now is nowhere to be found. They are quietly silent. There is no one who is making noise, because the company that employed these 81 people, 63 and 33 that is died, and 12 that is hospitalized by today, and 19 that is not found up to today, they are black people, so they don't care.
Now, Mr. Naki, if the inspectors were on site and they found that there was something amiss, why did they not stop the building?
That's the question that we're asking as the National Union of Mineworkers, and we will continue to ask that. That's why we're saying that the visit of the president here must bring results to people who actually must bring answers to the question that we're asking. Because you may ask that why the building was allowed to continue. But what I'm saying to you is that because it's DA that is governing here, and that is a white-owned company, things that are happening in white-owned companies here are shielded by the DA government. So this is what exactly is displaying here. That's why we are saying that this province this province must feel that it's part of South Africa. It's not an isolated country where they operate in island. So the things that are happening in workers generally in Western Cape are not following labor laws. Not here for this contract that was white owned. You can go all over Western Cape here. Things that are happening there, they don't follow labor laws. Where on earth you find a contract employing people and they pay 10 rand per day? So this is something that is not there in South Africa. This is something that's not there in South Africa, but because here is another country, it's governed by DA, they want everything, they want to own everything for this province. This is what we're not going to allow. Unfortunately, this is what we're going to allow. We want the Minister of the Department of Employment and Labour, we want the Minister of Home Affairs to make sure that companies in South Africa, they follow all the labor laws and they put the occupational health and safety of workers up front before profit. We can't allow a situation where now there's a narrative here that the government of DA or the government of Western Cape was prioritizing life more than everything since last week. If they were prioritizing life, why are they prioritizing life after the incident? Why they didn't prioritize life before the incident? If they are prioritizing life, they were to show us that there will be no incident that's happening that kills workers.
Now, Mr. Naki, according to labor practices, as far as you know and you're concerned, in a matter such as this one, looking at contractors like Newzroom Afrika that are involved in this construction, what are the consequences? What should be the consequences?
We just addressed now the Department of Labour. Now they are following all the investigations that their inspectors are now are taking through. Even the material that are taken from the site now are dumped somewhere where they are closely monitored. So the investigation will continue and will form part of those investigations. We'll make sure that.
Has there anything been found so far with that material that was taken in, the bricks, the cement, the rubble that has been removed from the site? Has there been anything found amiss there?
Only the Department of Public Works that have issued that they found that the bricks that was used there is a substandard bricks. It's not the bricks that was supposed to be used in such kind of a building. Of which even the cement itself that was used there by the contract, not the cement. And also it is also found that even engineers that were involved in that building were doing it visual. They were not there physical. They were directing it remotely, that this is what must happen, this is what must happen. That's why the building for.
Thank you so much, Mr. Naki. That's Masibulele Naki from NUM, the Health and Safety Secretary here on site, of course, looking to have a word with the President. I mean, we saw him as well engaging with the Minister of Labour and Employment, Thulas Nxesi, earlier on. So all we have to do now, Michelle, waiting on the meeting or the political briefing between the Western Cape government as well as the national government here and see what comes out. But we do know that from here, the President is expected to actually take a walk along York Street, which is the main road here in George, as he makes his way to the families who are accommodated at the Civic Hall. Now, the Civic Hall is where the families have been accommodated since we arrived here in George, since the collapse of the building, and thereafter he will then visit the construction site and the media would be given an opportunity to actually talk to the President.
Yes, certainly. And of course, once that walkabout does begin, Sipha, we'll come back to you and you will take us through it. Thanks very much indeed for that update.